In this video, we will talk about the history of the British monarchy. The British monarchy has a rich and complex history that spans over 1,000 years. As one of the longest-standing institutions in the world, the monarchy has evolved from a powerful, absolute authority to a modern constitutional figurehead, adapting to the changing social, political, and cultural landscapes over time. Here's an overview of the key phases in the history of the British monarchy. Early monarchy and the Anglo-Saxon period. The roots of the British monarchy date back to the early medieval period. After the fall of the Roman Empire, several kingdoms emerged in what is now England, including Wessex, Mercia, Northumbria, and East Anglia. These were ruled by local kings, who often fought each other for dominance. One of the most significant figures of this period was Alfred the Great, 871 to 899, the King of Wessex. He successfully defended his kingdom against Viking invasions and laid the foundations for a unified England. By the early 10th century, his descendants had extended their rule over the other Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, forming a united English monarchy. Norman Conquest, 1066, and Plantagenet dynasty. The Norman Conquest of 1066 was a key moment in British history. William the Conqueror of Normandy defeated King Harold II, becoming King of England and establishing Norman rule. This introduced feudalism and shaped English society. The Plantagenet dynasty began with Henry II in 1154, including notable kings like Richard the Lionheart and King John, who signed the Magna Carta in 1215, limiting royal power. The Wars of the Roses and the Tudor dynasty. In the late 15th century, the Wars of the Roses were fought between the House of Lancaster and the House of York. Henry Tudor's victory at the Battle of Bosworth in 1485 started the Tudor dynasty. Henry VIII's reign, 1509 to 1547, is famous for his 6 marriages and the creation of the Church of England. Elizabeth I, 1558 to 1603, is celebrated for her stable reign, flourishing arts, and defeating the Spanish Armada, but her death ended the Tudor line. The Stuart dynasty and the English Civil War. After Elizabeth I's death, the throne passed to James VI of Scotland, who became James I of England, uniting the crowns of England and Scotland. This marked the beginning of the Stuart dynasty. James I's reign, 1603 to 1625, was characterized by tension between the monarchy and parliament, a theme that would continue with his son, Charles I. Charles I's reign, 1625 to 1649, was fraught with conflict. His attempts to rule without parliament and impose his religious views led to the English Civil War between the royalists and the parliamentarians. The war ended in 1649 with the execution of Charles I and the establishment of the Commonwealth of England, led by Oliver Cromwell. This was a rare period in British history when the monarchy was abolished. The Restoration and the Glorious Revolution. The monarchy was restored in 1660 when Charles II was invited to return from exile, marking the beginning of the Restoration period. Charles II's reign, 1660 to 1685, saw the re-establishment of the Church of England in a period of relative calm after the turbulence of the Civil War. However, the reign of his brother, James II, 1685 to 1688, was more controversial due to his Catholicism and attempts to centralize power. In 1688, James was overthrown in the Glorious Revolution, a bloodless coup that saw his Protestant daughter, Mary II, and her husband, William of Orange, invited to take the throne. This event led to the passing of the Bill of Rights in 1689, which limited the powers of the monarchy and established the principle of parliamentary sovereignty. The Hanoverian dynasty and the rise of constitutional monarchy. After the death of Queen Anne in 1714, the last of the Stuarts, the throne passed to George I, the first monarch of the House of Hanover. George I's reign, 1714 to 1727, marked the beginning of the gradual transition of the British monarchy into a constitutional monarchy, where the monarch's powers were limited by Parliament. The Hanoverian period also saw the development of the modern political system, with the emergence of the role of the Prime Minister. Robert Walpole is often regarded as the first Prime Minister, serving under George II, 1727 to 1760. The monarchy continued to lose political power during this period, but the institution remained a symbol of continuity and stability. One of the most famous Hanoverian monarchs was George III, 1760 to 1820, whose reign saw significant events such as the American Revolution, the Napoleonic Wars, and the expansion of the British Empire. Despite losing the American colonies, Britain continued to grow as a global power. The Victorian era and the British Empire. The 19th century was dominated by the reign of Queen Victoria, 1837 to 1901, who became one of the most iconic monarchs in British history. Her reign, known as the Victorian era, was a time of industrial revolution, social reform, and the expansion of the British Empire. By the end of Victoria's reign, Britain was the world's leading imperial power, with colonies and territories spanning the globe. Victoria's long reign and her role as the symbolic head of a vast empire made her a beloved figure both in Britain and abroad. The British monarchy became increasingly ceremonial during this time, with real political power resting in the hands of Parliament and the Prime Minister. The 20th century. Modernizing the monarchy. The 20th century brought significant changes to the monarchy, as Britain faced 2 world wars, the decline of the empire, and rapid social change. King Edward VII, 1901 to 1910, and George V, 1910 to 1936, presided over a period of relative stability, but the abdication of Edward VIII in 1936 caused a constitutional crisis. Edward's decision to abdicate in order to marry American divorcee Wallis Simpson led to his brother, George VI, taking the throne. George VI's reign, 1936 to 1952, was marked by World War II, during which the royal family remained in London despite the bombing, helping to boost morale. After the war, Britain experienced the gradual decline of its empire and the rise of the Commonwealth of Nations. The reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Queen Elizabeth II, who ascended the throne in 1952, became the longest reigning monarch in British history. Her reign witnessed immense changes in British society and the world. Elizabeth II oversaw the continued decolonization of Africa and the Caribbean, the transformation of Britain into a multicultural society, and the modernization of the monarchy to adapt to changing times. Elizabeth II's dedication to her role earned her widespread respect and admiration, both in Britain and across the Commonwealth. Her reign saw the monarchy maintain its symbolic importance, even as real political power remained firmly with Parliament. The modern monarchy. Following the death of Queen Elizabeth II in 2022, King Charles III became the new monarch. In the 21st century, the British monarchy faces both challenges and opportunities. It remains a powerful symbol of tradition and continuity, but it must also adapt to the evolving role of the royal family in a rapidly changing world. Today, the British monarchy plays a largely ceremonial role, with the monarch serving as the head of state, while real political power rests with elected officials. The monarchy continues to capture the public's imagination and plays a significant role in British culture, tourism, and national identity. The history of the British monarchy is a story of power, politics, and adaptation. From its early beginnings as a dominant force in medieval England to its current role as a constitutional monarchy, the British monarchy has survived wars, revolutions, and changing societal values. Its ability to evolve with the times has ensured its continued relevance in modern Britain. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for watching.